If you're looking for the perfect Halloween night watch, you've come to the right place. This is my opinion, my ultimate Halloween must-watch list. I've divided them up into 3 different categories so you can find where you feel most comfortable and then pick from that category. So it's pretty simple, not scary, spooky, and scary. I just went through and started listing my favorite movies, and then I divided them up into these categories, and I was surprised at how evenly spread it is in all 3 categories. So you have plenty to pick from each category. First up, we have not scary. Starting off, we have The Haunted Mansion, the old version with Eddie Murphy. It is so good. It's a little scary, but it's a kids movie. And so it gives you that like thrill. So if you're looking for a family watch, this is a perfect one. I loved this movie growing up, but it wasn't until I revisited Walt Disney World as an adult that I realized how much it actually feels like the ride, which is incredible. So if you're nostalgic for Walt Disney World and you wish you were there for Halloween, go and watch this movie. It's so good. The Muppets version is also cute too, but it's not as classic as this one is. Second, we have Anastasia. This one, again, is a little thrilling for a kid. It is a little bit scary, but again, it's a kid's movie and it's so beautiful. If you haven't watched it in a long time, like go back and revisit it. It's also perfect for family night. Third on the list, we have Hocus Pocus 1 and 2. I think the second one holds up just as much as the first one, or maybe not just as much because the first one is a classic, but it really carries the story forward. And honestly, I teared up a bit. It's kind of a beautiful story for just these silly, spooky witches. And it actually has this like really heartfelt story by the end of the second one. So it's so beautiful. Absolutely love it. It's a classic. Oh my goodness. And it's a little cheesy too. Like you have the old like, get thee to my father. You know, it's like, it's so funny, but not in a cringy way. It's like, I don't know, almost like camp, or I don't know. It's so cute. We're gonna finish up the kids movies and then we're going to go into actual adult movies that aren't necessarily for kids, but they're also not scary. I got you. So then we have Coco. Ugh, I know it's a separate holiday, but it's still like Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. Like it's just so, I don't know, Halloween vibes, and you have all the aesthetics of the oranges and the purples. It just has this vibrant Halloween aesthetic that's so beautiful. And if you are looking to cry on Halloween, then you should definitely watch that one. It makes me cry every time. I'm just thinking about it, and I love it so much. Neighbors are so loud. So then we have, oh, this is my favorite princess movie of all time, Princess and the Frog. If you have a kid who's watching Frozen on repeat and you want to get them to watch something that's a little bit more Halloween themed, but it's still a princess, Princess and the Frog is your go-to. It is spooky. It does have that like children's like thrilling movie sort of thing. It's a little spooky. So now we are going into the more adult movies that I think you as an adult would enjoy without it actually just being a kid's movie. And this one is kind of borderline, but we have Hubie Halloween. I didn't expect to love this movie as much as I did, but honestly, since it's come out, I've watched it every year. It's so cute, and I love Adam Sandler. I think this is one of the best Adam Sandler movies that we've gotten in a minute, that it just feels like that classic Adam Sandler movie that we all grew up with. Adorable, not really spooky at all, like not really thrilling at all. Like there's Halloween elements, but it's just so stinking cute. Oh my goodness. Very heartwarming. And also like really silly. So if you're looking for a laugh on Halloween, Hubie Halloween is absolutely perfect for that. I put this in the not scary category. I can't remember it being scary. It's just really funny, but it's kind of a bizarre comedy. So again, if you're looking for a comedy, this is a great one. What We Do in the Shadows. It's so good. It's kind of hard to find, but it's worth it to watch. And it created all of these spin-offs There's a cop show that was spun off from it. There's a vampire spin-off that has the same name, but I'm talking about the movie. It has like Taika Waititi, who did like all of the Thor movies. Like if you really love like the Thor movies, you will love this one. It's so kooky, but it's so funny and it's great. Game night is a story of a group of friends who always get together and have game nights, and the couple that hosts these game nights take it extremely seriously. And so this movie sort of poses the question, what if they were living a real life murder mystery? And how would they sort of solve the game and get themselves out of this situation? Oh my gosh, this is just a really good fall show, but it's perfect for Halloween if you just want the vibes but not super scary. Knives Out. This would also be a really good Thanksgiving movie, like around like November time frame. It's just the aesthetic, like the plaid prints, the like beautiful like sweater knits and things like that. You have Chris Evans, who does a beautiful job in this movie, totally different than what he did in Captain America, of course, but he's kind of coming home to his roots. If you ever watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World, he's almost playing a similar character, which is kind of fun, almost like douchey. I am so late to the game on this. Oh my goodness, I didn't watch this until last year, I want to say. Practical Magic. I can't believe I slept on it. It is so good. It's not scary. That's why it's in this category. It's just a beautiful story of like sisterhood and friendship. It has romance. It's, you know, got Halloween elements. You know, they're witches and things like that. So it has so much going for it. It's so beautiful. And it's like set in that like almost like Nantucket-y, like northeastern Maine sort of situation. So like beautiful fall colors, things like that. Gorgeous movie. If you haven't watched it yet, please go and watch it, and also make yourself a margarita to go with it. Okay, last up, I love this movie so much. Oh my goodness. Clue. It's my absolute, like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I feel like I've watched it like so much that I almost need to give myself like a year in between so I can sort of forget some of the mystery elements. Clue is a classic murder mystery that's sort of a spin-off The Game. It's an incredibly like rich backstory that you don't know all of the elements to, and so you're trying to like piece it together as they go along. And there's twists and turns. Spoiler alert, but there are multiple endings. The fun thing about whenever this movie first released is you didn't know which ending you were gonna get. So you could go back multiple times and see a different ending, which is so cool. Now you just go through and experience each ending back to back to back, and you can kind of decide what you think really happened. Okay, I had to take a coffee break. Now we're finished up with the not scary portion, so if you are a little scaredy cat, feel free to leave now. So the spooky category involves a bit more gore, a bit more jump scares, but I don't think it's actively just trying to horrify you or be really scary. And frankly, some of them I can't remember how scary they were. So this is a middling ground of I don't remember it being that scary, but I want to warn you that it might be a little scary. So if you go in and watch it and it's scarier than I remembered, I'm sorry. So first up in the spooky list, we have the movie Spree. I think this one is so underrated. It's so good. It has Joe Keery from Stranger Things, who I adore, and he is such a good actor. I don't know exactly how this came about, but I know he developed a character called Kurt of Kurt's World, and he does some really oddball things on social media pretending to be Kurt. He'll still do it, I think, to this day every now and then, but it follows Kurt as an Uber driver and the lengths that people go to try to be famous. And so I think it has a lot of like commentary about loneliness and our social media age. It's so much more meaty than you actually expect whenever you're going into it. Again, it's so good. I have a few little shows in here because they're so good. So it's not necessarily a movie, but again, this is Halloween must-watches. Blanket statement, anything by Mike Flanagan. But we have Haunting of Hill House and we have Haunting of Bly Manor. I put these in spooky. There's definitely jump scares, especially in Haunting of Hill House, and there are some in Bly Manor as well. But I think ultimately, whenever you get past those spooky elements, there's a grander theme of family and loss and love. And these stories are absolutely devastating in a way, in a beautiful way. And so I highly, highly recommend really anything by Mike Flanagan, but Hill House is a wonderful place to start. And then after you've watched Hill House and you're like, I need a fix, Bly Manor is a beautiful one to go and watch after that. Now, if you're looking to ramp up, because I don't think Bly Manor is as good as Haunting of Hill House, so maybe start with Bly Manor, enjoy its decadence, and then go to Hill House because it'll like blow your mind with how good that is. Because I think sometimes if you go from such a banger of Hill House and then you go down to Bly Manor, you might be a little disappointed, but they're both good in their own right. I think Hill House is better as far as classic Halloween spooky vibes. I had not watched this movie until a couple of years ago, and again, it like blew me away with how good it was. I couldn't believe that I hadn't watched it yet, and I want to say it's pretty underrated. Crimson Peak. But we have Tom Hiddleston, who's an absolute dreamboat, of course, in this period drama with beautiful costuming, and it's not exactly like a beautiful estate. It's kind of run down, but it's still like got that like opulence like to it. So I highly recommend, and it has a great twist to it that I don't think you expect, and it's kind of oddball, but really, really good. I really need to rewatch that one this year because I've only watched it once and it made such an impact. I can't wait to watch it again. I waited so long to watch this one because I was waiting for it to get on a streaming service where it was like freely available to watch. It took a few years for me to be able to watch this one actually, and it was so worth the wait. It's called Ready or Not. This is almost like the scarier version of Game Night, where it's like a family takes games too seriously, and we see the fallout from that. It's just so good. Has a beautiful house, beautiful costuming, like sort of like a cult sort of situation. It's just so interesting, and I think the more you go in blind, the better. There's some of these that I almost need like a fourth category where things are like a little bit more scary and things are a little bit less scary, because this is certainly like a little less scary. But Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's an absolute classic. If you can go and like watch it with a group of people, that's great. I've never done that. I think it would probably be a lot of fun. It's one of those that I feel like is a rite of passage if you like are in college, especially because I went to a theater program, so Rocky Horror Picture Show was like just a big part of my college experience. So that's a classic if you haven't seen that one. Great vibes, kooky, like a little scary. So many of these have a beautiful like haunted house. I'm realizing a theme with all of these that I really love. A scary house, a scary mansion to be exact. This one I put in spooky. I couldn't remember how scary it was, but I really enjoyed it. I watched it last year for the first time, and I was surprised at how good it was and how many like twists and turns there were to it. But this one is Abigail. Again, I want you to go in like pretty blind. There's a cute little ballerina that gets kidnapped and held ransom by this group of people, and they didn't realize who they were kidnapping, and everything involved with this little girl, and so they get in over their heads. Sort of like predator becomes the prey situation to, again, not spoil too much, but there are like a lot of like really interesting little turns, and definitely it's spooky. We have the Scream franchise, an obvious freaking classic. It's so meta. It plays on all of the old like slasher stereotypes and sort of makes fun of them or turns them on their head or subverts them. Scream is honestly one of the only classics that I have on my list, and that is certainly something that is like scrutinizable about my list, that I don't have things like Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street or those sorts of things. I've watched some of the classics, but I haven't been like riveted by some of the classics, and I think it's because I didn't grow up watching scary movies, and so I think there's a sort of like nostalgic element to them to sort of appreciate them more. I don't know how I feel about the new Scream movies, and they're sort of getting into like controversial territory, but I think they're fun additions, but I wouldn't say that they are a go-to watch. This one is definitely spooky, for sure, but I didn't want to put it exactly in the scary category because I didn't quite think it fit totally in scary. It's like if there are multiple elements, like if it's scary and a comedy, if it's scary and a romance, if it's scary and about grief, then I put it in this spooky category because that's not all that it's about. I hope that helps clear up my different categories. So this one is definitely spooky, but it's so weird. I love it. Nosferatu. It just came out a little while ago. It's decadent. I don't know. It's just everything that you want in like a classic sort of horror movie where you have like the big castle on the hill, vampires, and decadent costuming and set design and scenes lit by candles or fireplaces and things like that, like just warm tones, but also cold, like the coldness of like England in a deep dark winter. It's a delicious movie, to be honest, and it's extremely weird, and I don't know if it's a gratifying ending, but it's a satisfying ending. You're just left raw by the end. Oof. It's really impactful. And maybe I should have put this in the scary category because it's got a lot to it. But there's also all this other stuff going on in it, like this love story, but also the ache to be understood and the femininity in just wanting to be seen. So good. Next up, we have Don't Worry Darling with Florence Pugh, who I adore, and we have Harry Styles, who I adore. Q Adore You by Harry Styles. It's so good, and the payoff is so good with this one. And it has so much to say about society, which is what I really love in a scary movie. It can translate experiences that are really just hard to understand until you've lived them. And scary movies are like this vehicle for you to live that experience in a roundabout way. Lovely, lovely movie. Plays on like the 1950s romance stereotype and what it is to be a woman today and what it was to be a woman then. This one is very powerful and deep, but it's also spooky. It's haunting. Oh my gosh, you're just left sick to your stomach in a good way because it really it leaves its mark on you. So I saw the TV Glow. It's really weird, and some of the things I don't necessarily fully understand with it. It's a beautiful movie with all of the color grading and things like that, like absolutely gorgeous, beautiful music in it. It's about whenever you're not living, I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest, without just giving things away. So a psychological horror film. So there's this mysterious late night TV show a vision of a supernatural world beneath their own. And so, in the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. You just really need to go in and experience it, but really good. And like, there's just things, it is spooky, but it's not scary, I would say. Final one in the spooky list. It's so good. I slept on it for so long. Jennifer's Body. I also haven't watched it since the first time that I watched it. I need to go back and watch it this year. It's so good, and it's like sexy, and it's, I don't know, it's delicious. And it gives you that experience again of like what it is to be a woman and to be performative as a woman, or more muted in your expression as a woman. I don't know, I feel like from my own experience of like, if I'm not getting dressed up, then I feel mousy and unseen. And then if I'm looking gorgeous, then I'm feeling and like expressing my sexuality and femininity, then it's like, am I just putting on a mask? Am I just performing this? Both are scrutinized, and I just think it's a great vessel for like that idea, but also just like female friendships, sexuality, things like that. It's so good, but it's also just a bop, you know? It's so fun. So now we're in our last category, the scary category. Off the bat, we're starting out strong with my favorite scary movies. Like, if I really just want something scary, then I'm going to go to The Conjuring 1 and 2. I love The Conjuring 1. It's so good. It's so scary. The Conjuring 2 is also extremely scary, but it is one of the most beautiful romance movies I've ever seen. I wasn't a big fan of the Elvis Presley song, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. That movie made me fall in love with that song because of the romance in that film. The actors who play that couple, I can't remember their names off the top of my head. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. The way they portray that couple is just everything. I feel like you grow up visualizing what a marriage will be like. It's one of the most beautiful love stories I've ever seen. And honestly, if they weren't so scary, maybe that would put them in the spooky category, because it is kind of like a horror and a romance all in one. But it's scary enough to put it in the scary category all in its own right. And there's so many movies within that world, but those are my two must-watches of that series. I didn't really like the third, and I haven't seen the fourth yet. I think the fourth is the latest one. The third wasn't so good, and I recently went back and rewatched it, and it just didn't hold up. Like, I didn't like it whenever I first watched it. Whenever I watched it the second time, it wasn't the same experience as watching 1 and 2 at all. I wanted to mention this one, and I can't remember how scary it was, so I put it in the scary category instead of the spooky category just because I couldn't remember. But I do remember loving this movie. It's called The Guest. I think it's pretty underrated as well. It came out like 11 years ago, which is insane. I need to rewatch that one. I'm such a big fan. Like, if you love Downton Abbey or The Beauty and the Beast with Dan Stevens, then you're gonna adore this movie because it has Dan Stevens in it. He's scrumptious. I really enjoyed it. I need to rewatch it. I wanted to put it on my list because it is so underrated. So if you go through and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen Scream, I've seen all of the Mike Flanagan shows, like, maybe you haven't watched that one. And maybe, you know, you haven't seen something like Spree. So I wanted to include some of my underrated ones in there. Speaking of Mike Flanagan, we are coming back around to him. And this one I did put in the scary category because this one is quite frightening, to be honest. And it's quite gory. It does have like a horror and it's this, but I think the horror and this is also really scary because it's like dealing with religion and how religion is manipulated by people for their own benefit. So I think that in and of itself is really scary. So I put this one in that category. So it's Midnight Mass by Mike Flanagan. It's a really powerful one. It's really good. It's really scary. And what I love most about it is that by the end of the story, it has wrapped everything up. It's just done. It is a fully enclosed circle, very satisfying within that. Like, even if it's devastating because it closes the circle and doesn't leave any loose strings, but it also means that you get to walk away from it and it's like the story is over. You know, whenever they leave something in there that hints that there might be a sequel, but you know you're never gonna get a sequel, and so then the story just kind of sits with you and kind of like haunts you in that way. This is such like an enclosed story that it doesn't haunt you. You know, you're not afraid that something is gonna like come out and get you because they left it like so open-ended. I do love that about that show. This is up there with The Conjuring, with one of my favorite movies. It's called Creep. It's written by one of the was it Matt and Ross? No, I'm thinking of the Duffer movies. There's the Duffer brothers, and then there's another set of brothers, Duplass. I really admire the Duplass brothers because of their ability to make film and TV affordable to create, but also really captivating to watch. So it's very like effective and like streamlined process. And so this is like two guys in a cabin with a camera and they make a movie. And it's such a good, really scary, unsettling movie. But also the character who's unsettling is also really captivating and charming. I feel like words are failing me with how I'm just like, it's good, you should watch it. But it is, and all of these are. It's just like, you know, picking from your favorites, picking your favorite child and trying to figure out like how to describe that. But it's very inventive. It's just like it's understated, but it maxes out the potential of what you can do on a budget. And two guys in a room with a camera, what happens? It's great for artists who need inspiration because it really shows you what's possible if you don't limit yourself and get bogged down within your limitations, I guess. How do you maximize within your limitations? Obviously, Get Out has to be on this list. Oh my goodness. And like I was talking about, my favorite thing about horror is that it is a vessel for lived experience. This really transformed the way that I think about racism. This movie was so effective for using horror as a vessel to transform your opinion on racism and lived experiences of Black people. It really does give M. Night Shyamalan a run for his money as far as twists go, because it's insane. So if you have never watched Get Out, I highly recommend it, which I mean, it just feels hard to believe that somebody like wouldn't have watched it by this point, but there are people out there. So if you have not, please go and watch it and like go in blind, you know, because it's so good. And it really, what was it, like 2017? Like that time frame was such a good time for horror. There are so many movies like from that time period that I have on this list. I also have It on this list, which I think was like from the same year or very close to it. The first one is definitely better than the second. There's It, and then there's It Chapter 2. The first It movie I watched with friends in a theater, which was so fun. It had me praying over these kids, like just a circle of protection around these kids. It was, oh, it's just, it's devastating in that these children are having to experience it on their own, unprotected, you know, without adult protection. You know, you have Stranger Things, which is so good. I can't believe that didn't make the list, honestly, but you should be watching Stranger Things. But Stranger Things, you have the adults that are sort of there for them and believe them, and then it is like, well, what if Stranger Things happened, but they didn't have adults who cared about them at all? And that's devastating. Highly recommend that one. You can watch the second one if you want to, but the first one is just so powerful on its own. I mean, it just sucks too, because in It Chapter 2, it has an amazing cast. It just wasn't as effective of a story as the first one. This one, out of all of the ones that we've talked through today, it is probably the only one on this list that I have actually fully screamed to. Like, top of my lungs. I probably screamed for a good 8 seconds straight. It was long enough that my friends looked over at me to see that I was still screaming because it had me so scared. And if you want to know which scene that was, you'll have to go and watch the movie, and I can put a little spoiler warning, but you have to go watch the movie first, and then I'll tell you which scene it was that made me scream like that. Oh, and the next one from that time period was A Quiet Place. Oh my goodness. I literally wrote about A Quiet Place in my submission to Brown University whenever I auditioned for their MFA program. This one is almost like in that spooky category where it's like, it is horror, but it is really scary. So I put it in this category, but it is horror, but it also just shows you like just family's devotion. And again, like the romance between two people, like the love story of these two people. I don't know, it shows you like I would probably exist in this like scary place to have a love like that. Like it's just so impactful, their love story. Kind of a romance in a way. It's a romance and just deep family bonds. Impressive sound design, impressive monster design, just really, really interesting as a movie, and just something that you don't see every day. You know, you see a slasher and it is what it is, but this is like, gosh, like how would you exist in that world? It really gets your brain going, almost like whenever you watch like a zombie movie, it's like, how would I survive this world? Like, could I be capable of surviving in this world? So it's just really intriguing and gets your mind going. I think it's a great like conversation starter. You walk out of the theater, you walk out watching it and you're like, gosh, well, like what would you do, you know? Okay, we have 4 left to go through. So moving on, I have to include a movie musical other than Rocky Horror Picture Show, but Sweeney Todd, man, it left me so freaked out. It's just icky, but it's such a good movie, great Halloween vibes. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. You have Tim Burton and his classic entourage with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, and then you have Alan Rickman, and you have the guy Enchanted in the movie. Oh, and he's also in Harry Potter too. He plays Wormtail in Harry Potter. It's icky and scary and deeply upsetting. To me, whenever I walk away from this movie, it haunts me. I have trouble, I guess, putting this movie like away whenever I'm done watching it, because I'm just like, ugh, like the consequences and the reality of that, like it sits with me. So that's honestly, I would watch The Conjuring all day compared to watching Sweeney Todd, because it's gross. I don't know. It's gross and it's upsetting, but it has a wonderful place on this list if you want to feel all of that. This one is so beautiful. Okay, Midsummer. It was my first Ari Aster to watch, and I can't say that I've enjoyed a lot of Ari Aster, but I really loved this one. I mean, I love Florence Pugh. I think she really carries this movie, if you will. Like, it just, and not because the movie is bad, but just because it's so much to hold. And if she couldn't carry it, then it wouldn't have been as effective. This one is also deeply upsetting. It's almost hard to watch at some points. One of the more like true blue, like scary horror movies, and almost like you feel like slightly violated watching it. But there's also this, I guess I like scary movies that their main purpose is not just to be scary. You have all of these other elements to it, and this one really is, it's about grief for sure, but it's also about depression and feeling disjointed from the rest of the world and not being allowed to exist as you are. Like, you need to, and just get with it, right? Like, snap out of it, just be better. And it's like, it's just not possible sometimes, and you just want to feel what you feel. So it's very beautiful about like releasing trauma, but also, you know, classic cult story as well. This one is so weird, but it's so good. So it's The Lighthouse, and it has Robert Pattinson and it has Willem Dafoe in it. It was filmed on black and white actual film, so it's gorgeous in the way that it's filmed, and it's this weird story, but it's really good. I can't remember how it ends, but I can remember how it made me feel, and it was just odd, and I don't know, I also really like odd things that are kind of like, ugh, should I be watching this? It's not necessarily the point of it just to weird you out or gross you out. I mean, I guess a little bit. I always say that I like scary movies that aren't mean, and this one is definitely not mean. It's just weird. If you really like different like film styles, you know, a modern movie, weird sound, a modern movie like done on film, it's so cool. Last but not least, we have The Black Swan. It's got like ballet in it, which is fun, but it's also like really scary and unsettling, and you walk away from it and you just feel, I don't know, I think I felt really sad walking away from it. Not fully like satisfied with the ending. I really love that it's using like ballet, because I don't think people love the ballet from the outside, but people don't understand ballet from the inside, of how hard it is on your body, of course your feet, but also like the mental toll that it takes, the physical toll that it takes. I think people understand like, oh, ballet and like eating disorders or something like that, like from a glance, but they don't understand what it is to like live that. And I mean, I don't necessarily, I wasn't, you know, a ballet dancer growing up. I have ventured into the ballet world because of different jobs that I've had and things like that. I know more about it now. I love that you get that inside out experience of ballet through this movie. I think it's one of those that you need to watch a couple of times also to like fully like grasp everything. Like I think I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and I don't think I have a full scope of everything that's going on in that movie and all of the different layers with it. There's so much to it. It's a very rich story and beautiful story. It's great to look into like the background of Natalie Portman, like training for it and things like that. Editing Tabitha here with my cute little pumpkin. I realized that I forgot 2 huge movies that I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna do it very briefly because I talked so much. For one, Emerald Fennell's Promising Young Woman. So amazing and so like subversive to what you think a woman in a horror movie is supposed to do. Because if you think of like the final girl, it's like this is post her becoming the final girl, and now she's become the thing that should be feared, if that makes sense. She has become the predator. And it's a beautiful way the story unfolds. It's not a satisfying ending at all, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad, well, I guess it is satisfying in the end. It's just not how you want it to go at all. So I highly recommend that one. The second movie is Sinners. Oh my goodness. I watched that one in like August of this year or something like that, whenever it finally came out on HBO Max to stream. Easily one of my favorite scary movies that I've watched in a very long time, probably since Promising Young Woman. The colors and lighting of that movie feel like a return to like the glory days of Hollywood. Gorgeous, and it's got beautiful music. As somebody from the South who grew up with like country music and like folk music and things like that, that's one of my favorite genres of music. It's not necessarily country, but folk. You're gonna love this movie if you are into like those vibes, and the costumes. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Oh my goodness. And there's so many freaking Michael B. Jordan, is that his name? I mean, he's such a looker, right? He's so handsome, and it's such a good movie. So everybody just thank Brian Coogler for another amazing movie. I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope you found a new favorite movie to watch on Halloween. And maybe it's macabre, but I've realized that you only get so many in your lifetime, so it's worth trying to enjoy it as much as possible every single year. Happy Halloween, and I will see you guys in the next video.